Welcome back, it's JWalter here, and hope you guys are having an awesome day, by the way. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing an update from Redfin. In this report that was actually just released today, they stated that the share of home sellers reducing their asking prices has hit its highest levels since October of 2019. Also, according to Redfin, the housing market frenzy is coming to an end. So that's the topic of today's video. I'm going to break down this report for you guys, so hope you guys get a lot of value out of it. And with that said, let's begin today's video. This was published on May 26. It says, of course, this housing market frenzy is coming to an end, and 19.1% of home sellers dropped their asking prices during the 4-week period ending May 22nd. That's the highest levels since October of 2019. So in other words, nearly 1 out of every 5 home sellers are reducing their asking prices in order to attract a home buyer. Also, measures of competition, including days on the market, the share of houses that went under contract within 1 week, and the share of houses selling above the asking prices have all plateaued. Additionally, mortgage purchase applications are at the lowest levels since June of 2020. On top of this, Redfin's Home Buying Demand Index posted its largest annual decline since April 2020. And according to Redfin's chief economist, Daryl Fairweather, she had this to say: "The picture of a softening housing market is becoming more clear, especially to home sellers who are increasingly turning to price drops as buyers become more cost conscious under higher mortgage rates." So because we're seeing more price reductions, this is telling me that home sellers are becoming overzealous. So home sellers are seeing that, oh, my neighbor sold their house for 20 offers. They sold it in 2 days. It sold for way over the asking price. We're at record high home prices, so I'm going to be asking for a lot for my house because it's worth that much. However, what a lot of home sellers do not recognize is that the housing market is shifting. This is because home buying demand is decreasing because of rapidly rising home prices and, of course, rapidly rising mortgage rates. On top of this, here's some early signs that this housing market is also cooling off. Fewer people are searching for houses for sale on Google. That's actually down 13% from 1 year ago. I go over this in my previous videos, where if you actually go onto Google Trends and search for homes for sale, that has been decreasing compared to 1 year ago. Also, the seasonally adjusted Redfin Home Buying Demand Index, which is a measure of requests of home tours from Redfin agents, is down 12% from 1 year ago. This is the largest decline since April 2020, when the pandemic paused most home buying activity. I remember in April 2020 and also in March 2020, when our housing market was basically on a standstill. We had stay-at-home orders in California for approximately a month, so we weren't even allowed to meet face-to-face with the home buyers. So it's really telling that the demand index decreased by the same amount in April 2020, during that time when we basically were not even allowed to meet with our clients face-to-face. So in other words, that's very telling that the demand index decreased by that same amount during the earliest parts of this pandemic. On top of this, home tours by real estate agents showing their home buyers has decreased by 29 percentage points from the same time period in 2021. This is according to showingtime.com, which is a service that some real estate agents use in order to request home tours for their home buyers, or with their home buyers, I should say. So for the week ending May 25th, the number of home showings has only increased by 6% compared to the first week of 2022. Compare that to 2021. At this time, we had an increase by 35.3% compared to the first week of 2021. So in other words, we have a big decrease in the number of home tours by real estate agents now compared to last year. On top of this, mortgage purchase applications, which is when a home buyer submits a loan application in order to buy a house, has fallen 16% from 1 year ago, but it was basically flat week over week. This is according to the latest data we have from the Mortgage Bankers Association, as I made a video about this a couple of days ago for you guys. So their purchase index has fallen to the lowest levels we've seen since May of 2020. And it says currently higher rates, low inventory, and high prices are keeping prospective buyers out of this market. And keep this in mind because during this time of year, home buying demand tends to be very, very hot. However, we're seeing just the opposite as home buyers are really backing out of this housing market here because of all these headwinds they're facing. On top of this, we're also seeing a decrease in mortgage rates. So according to Freddie Mac, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage is averaging at 5.1%. 2 weeks ago, it was averaging around 5.5 to 5.6%. Okay, that's some early indicators of home buying activity, but let's have a look at what we're seeing right now regarding home prices, housing inventory, and home sales, for example. So here's the key housing market takeaways for the 400 plus US metro areas that Redfin tracks on a weekly basis here. And data in this report covers the 4-week period ending May 22nd of this year. So the median sold price in the US actually was up 16% year over year. It has reached an all-time record high of $400,000. The median asking price of newly listed houses also jumped to $418,000. That's an increase of 18%, an all-time record high as well. The monthly mortgage payment on the median asking price home actually declined slightly from the record high we saw from last month. Right now we're at $2,425 per month. That's at the current 5.1 mortgage rate. So the monthly mortgage payment on a typical home in the United States actually decreased slightly compared to the record highs we saw last week. And this is because mortgage rates decreased compared to last week. We're at 5.1%. 1 week ago, we were around 5.3%, for example. In any case, so this is still up 42% from 1 year ago when mortgage rates were about 2.95%. Meanwhile, pending home sales were down 5.4% from 1 year ago, and the number of new listings is basically the same compared to 1 year ago. We're also starting to see an increase of active listings, which is another word for housing supply in the United States right now. So active listings fell 13% year over year, but this is the smallest decline since April of 2020. On top of this, we're seeing an increase of price drops, as I mentioned earlier in this video here. So on average, 4.8% of houses that get listed for sale each week had a price drop. Overall, though, 19.1% dropped their asking price in the past 4 weeks. That's actually up from 13% from 1 month ago and up from 9.8% from a year ago. This is also the highest share since October of 2019. Okay, changing gears slightly, let me share some graphics with you guys to share how the trends right now compare to 2020 and also 2021 as well. So here's the median sold price, again, increased by 16% year over year. As you can see here, basically home prices have been going straight up. So a gain of 16% year over year. The median sold price is $400,000. 1 year ago in 2021, the median sold price was less than $350,000. And in 2020, it was about $275,000. In regards to asking prices from home sellers, again, this is the asking price that home sellers ask for their house for sale, has plateaued. As you can see that, the median asking price of a newly listed house for sale jumped 17.8% on a year-over-year basis. But look at this, over the past couple of weeks here, that trend has been plateauing. As you can see here, the asking price has been increasing basically all throughout the year, but more or less over the past couple of weeks, it has been plateauing. This again could be a sign that home buying activity is decreasing, given the fact that the median asking price has been plateauing. However, I'll definitely keep you posted regarding this because, of course, this is a short-term trend. We'll have to see it becomes a long-term one. Also, home buyer mortgage payments have increased by 42% compared to 1 year ago. This is based on the 4-week rolling average of the median asking price home in the US. This is also based on current mortgage rates as well. As you can see here, this is definitely not sustainable. Again, the average mortgage payment for home buyers basically shooting up from approximately $1,600 or $1,675 at the beginning of this year to now $2,425. However, this is a positive sign that we're starting to see this decrease, but this is really only a reflection that mortgage rates have been decreasing over the past couple of weeks, not because home prices have decreased. And have a look at this, because here's the average mortgage payment since 2015. So when you look at the growth of the average mortgage payment for homebuyers right now, for 2022, it has increased by $750 per month. That's an increase from $1,675 to now $2,425 per month. However, when you compare 2015 all the way until the end of 2021, it only increased by $575. So basically in the span of 5 months, we've had a bigger increase in the average mortgage payment, again by $750 this year alone compared to the last 7 years. So over the last 7 years, the average mortgage payment only increased by $575 from the beginning of 2015 to the end of 2021. In other words, not sustainable. Meanwhile, pending home sales decreased by 5.4% compared to 1 year ago. As you can see here, pending home sales were basically on par with 2021 levels until we hit April, which by the way, April is when mortgage rates started to increase greatly. So right now, the pending home sales are down 5.4% from 1 year ago. The number of new listings is basically flat compared to 2021, basically the same levels compared to last year. And like I mentioned in my previous video, if we want to see home prices decrease greatly, we need the number of new listings and also the number of active listings to increase greatly as well. However, we're not seeing that just yet. Because as you can see here, active listings are down 12.9% compared to 1 year ago. We have 585,000 houses for sale compared to over 1 million in 2020. However, as you can see here, the gap between 2022 and 2021 has basically been narrowing, which is a step in the right direction because obviously we need a lot more houses to be listed for sale in order to cool off this crazy housing market we have. Meanwhile, 55% of pending home sales went under contract within the first 2 weeks of hitting the market. That's actually down from the all-time record highs we saw in March and April of this year, but still at levels above 2021 and of course above 2020 as well. Also, 40% of pending home sales went under contract within 1 week. But as you can see here, that level has been basically plateauing. At the start of this year in January and February, it basically was going straight up. But ever since then, this has been plateauing, actually been going down slightly as well. Also, for houses that went under contract within 2 weeks, it also has been plateauing ever since February as well. Meanwhile, houses are still selling very quickly. The median days on the market is 15 days. That's a time when a home seller lists their house for sale to when they accept an offer from home buyer. However, this trend has been plateauing though, which is obviously a positive sign that home buying demand activity is slowing. Additionally, 57% of houses sold above their asking price. This is for the 4 weeks ending May 22nd at 56.8%. As you can see here, it's above levels in 2021 and also 2020, but the share has basically been plateauing over the past few weeks. And check this out. Here's the share of price reductions in the US. So the red line here is for 2022, the blue line is 2021. As you can see here, for the past couple of years, we basically started the year at approximately 2% of price reductions in the US. But as you can see here, in 2021, it more or less has plateaued. It started to increase slightly in May. However, compared to now, look at this trajectory here. Ever since April, the share of price reductions is basically going straight up every single week. And I'll definitely keep you posted regarding this because if this share continues to increase, this could be a strong sign that home buyers are not willing to pay these high home prices. And here's the share of price reductions ever since 2015. As you can see here, we're at 4.8%, the highest levels since October of 2019. Meanwhile, homes are still selling for over their asking price on average. So the average sale to list price ratio is 102.8%. What that basically means is that home sellers sold their houses for 2.8% over their asking price. But as you can see here, the share here has basically been skyrocketing ever since basically February, but more recently though, it has been plateauing. And last but not least, here's the Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. Again, this is an index based on requests to look at houses by Redfin agents. As you can see here in 2022, over the past January basically through April, we had a higher share of requests of home tours compared to 2021. But ever since April, this share has been decreasing greatly. So now we're down 12% compared to 2021. We're also approaching levels we have not seen since May of 2020. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.